Welcome home, my friends, to the North Star Within podcast. I'm your host, Britt Ward, holistic life coach, licensed massage therapist, Reiki master, and personal development advocate. Let's dive into today's topic. The Tale of Two Wolves. One evening, an elder Cherokee was teaching his grandson about life. He said, "A fight is going on inside of me." He told the young boy, a fight between two wolves. One is fear. It is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. He continued, one is love. It is joy, peace, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you, grandson, and inside of every person on the face of this earth. The grandson ponders this for a moment and then asks, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee smiled and simply said, "The one you feed." All human actions are motivated at their deepest level by two emotions, fear or love. In truth, there are only two emotions, only two words in the language of the soul. Fear wraps our bodies in clothing. Love allows us to stand naked. Fear clings and clutches all that we have. Love gives away all that we have. Fear holds close. Love holds dear. Fear grasps. Love lets go. Fear rankles. Love soothes. Fear attacks. Love amends. Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, Book 1. Let's talk a little about understanding the definition of love and fear. The definition of love is an intense feeling of deep affection, care, and connection towards people, things, or experiences. It is often associated with positive emotions such as joy, compassion, and commitment, fostering a sense of belonging and mutual support. The characteristics of love can show up as openness, trust, and vulnerability. Love motivates actions that prioritize the well-being of others and nurture relationships, promoting personal growth and fulfillment. Fear is defined as an unpleasant emotion triggered by the anticipation or awareness of danger, pain, or threat. It is a powerful primal response intended to protect us by promoting avoidance or defensive actions. The characteristics of fear are often hesitation, caution, and retreat. While it can be protective in nature, excessive fear might inhibit growth and cause anxiety or stress, leading to decisions that prioritize security over potential opportunity. Both love and fear profoundly influence your decision-making processes, guiding you towards safety or growth based on the context of the situation. Let's explore how love and fear influence decision-making and shape our lives in profound ways. The influence love has with decision-making is that the decisions made from love often prioritize empathy and connection by considering the impact your decisions have on others and aiming to foster harmony and understanding. For instance, choosing to invest in a relationship that is driven by love and the desire to nurture bonds. Love influences you to be open to growth by encouraging risk-taking for personal and collective growth. It allows you to embrace change and seek out new opportunities, which can often lead to formative experiences. For example, pursuing a passion or dream career reflects decisions rooted in love. And with love, you often adopt a more positive outlook and decision making abilities aimed at creating positive outcomes due to being driven by your hope and faith in all possibilities. For example, I'm sure you've experienced new relationship bliss, the initial intensely positive and exciting phase of a new romantic relationship in which you experience excitement and a feeling of euphoria. When you're in this mindset, life and the world seem to be a much brighter and hopeful place. The influence fear has with decision making, fear often leads to more cautious decision making, prioritizing safety and risk avoidance. When fear dominates, you might choose to stick with the status quo or avoid certain actions to minimize perceived threats or pain. You can relate, right? What is something that you might be making a decision about right now that is based in fear rather than love? If you're uncertain about this, ask yourself, where in your life do you feel that a situation, a person, or experience might be a threat? I challenge you to reevaluate that. Also, decisions influenced by fear may also focus on an avoidance mindset to prevent negative outcomes. This can limit your experiences or opportunities for growth and might result in missed chances or reluctance to make significant changes due to fear of failure. I'm sure you're all familiar with procrastination, so I challenge you to also ask yourself where you might be procrastinating. And is that really due to a lack of motivation, or is it in relation to something more fear based? And lastly, fear can prompt emotionally reactive decisions aimed at immediate relief from discomfort or anxiety, sometimes bypassing long term considerations. So, this can result in making hasty choices that might not align with your core values or goals over time. But overall, understanding whether your decisions are influenced by love or fear will help you become more intentional and aware. This will guide you towards choices that will align with your deeper values and aspirations. There is a song by the Dirty Heads, and the chorus goes, "Fear and love. Sometimes people tend to mix it up. Tell me, which side are you standing on? You can complicate it all you want, but in the end, it's only fear and love." Most of our decisions are largely motivated by the desire to move towards pleasure and away from pain. There is a psychology behind fear and love based decisions, with love based decisions being deeply rooted in your need for attachment and connection, stemming from early relationships and bonding experiences. Secure attachments will foster a sense of safety and belonging, and this will influence your decisions that will potentially enhance these feelings. Also, love based decisions activate your brain's reward centers, releasing neurotransmitters like dopamine and oxytocin that promote pleasure and well being. This type of neurological response encourages you to make decisions that are rewarding and satisfying emotionally, driving you towards people and experiences that nurture you. Lastly, the psychological drive of love includes a strong component of empathy and altruism, motivating you to make decisions that benefit others, enhance relationships, and promote social harmony. This connection fosters cooperative and collaborative behavior, supporting your decisions that are aimed at mutual growth. On the other hand, the psychology behind fear based decisions is rooted in your primal survival instincts, triggering the flight or fight response. Your ancient brain function prioritizes immediate survival. This prompts you to make decisions focused on self-preservation and avoidance of threats. Also, psychologically, fear heightens your perception of risk, leading to more conservative or defensive decision making. This response can protect you from harm, but it might also limit opportunities for growth and innovation when overemphasized. Lastly, fear can lead to cognitive biases, such as pessimism, where you overestimate the likelihood of a negative outcome. These biases affect your decision quality, leading to avoidance or overly guarded strategies, even in non threatening situations. I've got to tell you guys personally, this is something that I am currently in the process of facing and overcoming. Let me give you some everyday examples of how fear based decisions might manifest in your choices and how it can look. It could show up as choosing to stay in a relationship because you fear being alone, even if the relationship is unhealthy, turning down a promotion or exciting project due to fear of failure or taking on too much responsibility, not voicing your needs or concerns in a relationship out of fear of conflict or upsetting the other person, choosing a safe career path and opting for stable, low risk job despite a lack of personal fulfillment, or avoiding sharing your creative passion because of fear of criticism. I ask you to reflect on these examples I've given you, and if willing, I encourage you to journal about these and see which of these might be showing up in your life. And I will also give you some examples here of how love based decisions manifest in your choices and what that might look like. It is extremely important to also acknowledge where you are making decisions based in love, because focusing purely on the fear is only going to amplify that experience of the fear. Some examples are taking a leap of faith for love by moving across the country to be with a partner you deeply care about, offering significant time and emotional support to a friend in need, even if it requires personal sacrifices, pursuing a career that aligns with your values and passions, even if it means working harder or facing obstacles. Boy, am I ever living this one. It could also show up as forgiving someone who has wronged you, choosing to let go of resentment, and move forward with a relationship based on genuine care and understanding. Or standing up for what you believe in and taking a public stance on an issue you care about, even if it means facing potential backlash. When I was in middle school, one of my classes, there was a poster above the chalkboard with a quote that read, "Stand up for what you believe, even if it means you're standing alone." I looked online for the author of this quote and discovered conflicting information about the original speaker of these inspiring words. But here's another relevant quote attributed to social activist Maggie Kuhn, which says, "Speak the truth, even if your voice shakes." Kuhn encouraged people to speak their minds despite fear. Marianne Williamson, one of my teachers and someone I deeply admire and respect, is known for her teachings in A Course of Miracles and 12 published books, 7 of which made the New York Times bestseller list. In one of her bestsellers, A Return to Love, Williamson says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world." I really appreciate this quote, and I've added my own onto this also about is not our darkness that frightens us most, but our light. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And here I take this a step further by saying we are afraid of our power because if we acknowledge how powerful we are, that means we have to take responsibility for our own happiness. And for some people, that is one of the most terrifying things to acknowledge that all of their unhappiness in their life is their control. You have the ability to change your thought from a negative to a positive, and in turn, you get to create the happiness that you are longing for. You get to take responsibility for your own happiness. In a video I found on YouTube, Jim Carrey says, "My father could have been a great comedian, but he didn't believe that it was possible for him. And so he made a conservative choice instead. He got a safe job as an accountant. And when I was 12 years old, he was let go from that safe job. And our family had to do whatever we could to survive. I learned many great lessons from my father, not the least of which was that you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well take a chance on doing what you love." I will provide a link in the description for the full video speech on YouTube. Let me give you some techniques to recognize and overcome fear-based decision-making and encourage you towards a shift of love-dominant mindset. You can adopt a mindfulness practice, such as meditation or breath work, and I do have some meditations available on my YouTube channel. I will be putting more out as time goes along. By being present in the moment, you can become more aware of when fear is creeping into your thought process. Or you can try journaling. I keep a journal every morning, and even if you write something as simple as 5 to 10 things you're grateful for every morning, that intention will set the tone for your day and attract more gratitude to you, also helping you to keep a more positive mindset. You can try keeping a journal to document your fears and thoughts associated around these decisions. This can help you identify your patterns and bring underlying fears to light, making them more easier to address. And you can also use curiosity as a tool for mindset shifting by framing decision-making as an exploration rather than a challenge. Ask yourself questions like, what can I learn from this? Or, how might this change me? Another strategy for overcoming fear gradually is by exposing yourself to situations you fear in small steps. This will build your confidence over time, making it easier to approach larger decisions with a loving mindset. I had a professor in college who would say, "Do what you fear, and fear will disappear." Also, finding a supportive community or mentor to provide encouragement and constructive feedback can reduce the feeling of isolation in facing fears. A community, such as this one, or a life coach, such as myself. Practicing self-compassion is vital in developing a love-based mindset. So be open to recognize that you will make mistakes, as everyone does, and that's part of learning and growth. Lastly, if you are willing to set clear, intentional goals based on your values, this will help align your choices with what you love, resulting in a reduced influence of fear. So some key points to remember from this episode: fear-based decisions often stem from a desire to avoid pain or discomfort, while love-based decisions are driven by a desire for connection, growth, and positive outcomes. Recognizing the underlying motivations behind your choices can help you make decisions that are more in line with your true values. And it's important to find balance between considering potential risks and taking action based on your deepest desires. Beloved listeners, I encourage you to reflect on a recent decision and consider whether it was made from love or fear and how you might choose differently next time. Please feel free to share your experiences, or if you are deliberating a decision or situation, unsure how to determine whether you are going to make your choice from love or fear, please message me directly on the Facebook group, The North Star Within, or send me an email at thenorthstarwithinpodcast@gmail.com. I will leave you with a quote from Franklin Roosevelt's first inaugural address. So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Subscribe to keep connected with future content and join the Facebook group, The North Star Within, for more direct interaction with myself, fellow listeners, and a community of like-minded people here to support one another. As Ram Dass says, we are all just walking each other home.